Why not Windows? Why not use VS Studio Code? And why not stick to what's comfortable? And to be fair, to devil's advocate my own opinion here, you don't need to use anything else. You could use VS Code and build projects, and be fine doing so. You could make a lot of money. You could get very far doing, everything you could do on Neovim and Linux. Don't get it twisted. Doesn't make you better or worse, okay? That's my opinion anyway. I could be wrong. But one thing I had with using Windows, because Windows is loads of graphical user interfaces, right? You got different windows and stuff like that. But you never understand exactly how a shell works, how a terminal works. What is even the difference? What's Bash? What's a Linux kernel? What's a distribution? What's Windows NT kernel? How do kernels work? What's the difference between kernels and distributions? Like, there's so many questions that you just don't know. But aside from all that, using Linux has taught me one essential thing: file management, how to navigate your system. Because when I was using VS Studio Code, one of the main problems I had was understanding how to install packages. I'd I'd create a virtual environment in my program, and import stuff. And I'm like, where's my Python path? What is even path? Like, there's so much stuff that VS Code handles for you that you just don't understand the scope of by not using something like Linux. Because Linux, you're forced to use the bash. You're forced to use the bash shell. And you can only look for it via a terminal. And when you use commands to navigate through your file structures or to delete files or add files, you understand how file pathing works. And this is such a fundamental skill that you just don't get taught unless you're having to internalize these commands, such as bash, via a shell, through a terminal. You just don't get any of that with VS Code. And so if you're going to do database management, or if you're going to, for example, in my instance, I want to be able to communicate remotely with my Raspberry Pi and eventually a server to host my LLM. This stuff is a lot easier when using something like Neovim and Linux, which leads me to my next value proposition of why you should learn Linux and Neovim is Neovim. Neovim.